Five, four, three. Howdy ho.
Fantastic. We're live.
We are.
We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 5 of the 2021 conference. My name is Mitch Davilo. I am an organizer for the Illinois Pirate Party, as well as I'm running as a pirate in 2022 for Illinois District 3. So far, this conference, we've discussed the history, the issues of the pirate parties. We looked at the pirate wheel, the political pirate wheel, and we've covered how to start a state party. So, given what we know so far, we kind of have an idea of what a pirate is. But what we've given everyone so far has been pretty surface level. Everything that I think they've seen, they could have Googled, they could have skimmed Wikipedia and saw the same thing. If the question now becomes, what does a pirate stand for? What do we mean when we say pirate politics? Now, I'm sure it's apparent to everybody, and if it isn't obvious by now, we are the party of the internet. Our origins stem from issues of copyright, the raid of Pirate Bay, and we have many pirates that work with IT or work in IT. Uh, in fact, I have in front of me a an excerpt I stole from our Pirate Party wiki from a section called "The Internet is one of the greatest achievements in human history. It has changed the world's infrastructure. The internet is the best tool for democracy and equality that has been invented. It is a worldwide nervous system carrying conversation, culture, politics, freedom, and knowledge, and a global bazaar where we will eventually be able to communicate with everyone in the world. The internet strengthens democracy, in which power comes with consent of the governed. An open exchange of ideas that helps citizens decide how society should be managed and developed. For the internet to serve democracy, a diversity of values and perspectives must be accepted and tolerated. Everyone must be allowed to communicate, seek information, and publish full text anonymously if needed. The First and Fourth Amendments must be respected. It goes on to say culture should not be a commodity, available only to those who can afford to pay for it. It should not be a crime for the members of society to share and comment on artifacts that are able to be in their shared environment. Efforts to control speech over the internet inevitably gives governments or corporations the power to silence dissenting opinions. This would reduce the democratic potential of the internet to that of a shopping mall. The Pirate Party wants the internet to be a haven for democracy and free speech. The Pirate Party is the internet's political wing. Now, I think that's all true, and I that is a pretty good summary, I believe, if you're looking for the internet aspect of pirates. Uh, and like I said, we have many pirates around the world that work in IT, but I believe we have many pirates, just as many pirates, that do not. I personally do not work in IT. I work in a pizzeria. I work with pizza. I'm a worker. I myself, I'm not even tech savvy. Uh, but I grew up with technology. I grew up with access to the internet and the ability to use the internet. What drew me to the Pirate Party was something we put on uspirates.org. We put people before corporations. The Supreme Court and Congress have expanded power, for hundreds of years now and made them more powerful than people. Whether it's Citizens United, uh, congressional corporate tax cuts, real people end up with the short stick. Uh, we put people before corporations. Uh, when I first dove into the Pirate Party, uh, I realized very quickly that pirates are people. Uh, we are an idea born in 2006, growing up with the internet, as many people have. Uh, we grew up fully understanding the power of the internet, having internet access, having that information available in an instant, in the palm of your hands, at the foot of your computer. The ability to communicate with people, not just from citywide, countywide, countrywide, or continent-wide. You can go around the world and communicate with people now. The ability to work from home, being able to have a group email instead of having to go to a meeting, being able to pay your bills online. The internet has made life easier, more convenient, and it's basically essential to day-to-day life for most people. What attracted me to the Pirate Party ultimately was this. It was governmental transparency, personal privacy, and net neutrality. I think the average citizen of any country can understand those ideals and get behind those ideals. We are the party that believes that internet is a human right, that access to the internet and access to information should be free and available to all. We're not the left-wing party. We're not the right-wing party. We're the evidence-based policy party. Excuse me. We go based on what works, policy that works. That's just logical. If it works, enact it. So the question that arises from all of this then becomes, how do I convince others to join the Pirate Party? I am very intrigued in the Pirate Party. I want to get involved in the Pirate Party, but I don't know if I can convince my friends to. I said, just tell them to get a good look at anybody who's involved. Pirates are common folk, no different than you or I. They're the average voter. We are you. We're people looking at the issues of the 21st century and taking a 21st century approach to it. We don't look like politicians because we are not politicians. We don't work for corporations. We're engineers, teachers, social workers, nurses, laborers. We are the common man. We are workers. We're the 9-to-5ers, the taxpayers. We're the people that these laws are affected by. I say you support the pirates because we're the only ones who understand the real issues at hand here. At least we're the ones growing up with the issues. We are modern with the issues. We are a people first party. And I think the truest form of for the people, by the people, of the people. Some of the most beautiful words I think that have been written in the foundation of our country. That is all I have to say on that end. Was that Lincoln who said it? I believe it was Lincoln who said that. We are a government of the people, by the people. I suppose at this point, to any of our viewers watching, I could field any questions. If you have a question on how to get others to join the Pirate Party, or if you have a specific question in regards to it, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, we need swag.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to convince people because there are a lot of people who don't want to think out of the two-party system.
Right.
So why should a Democrat support the pirates, or why should a Republican support the pirates?
Well, I'll say this. I would say, if you're asking why should a Democrat support the Pirate Party, I would say that we put people first before corporations. That would be my push on that aspect. Is that we always look for what is the best for the individual more so than what's best for the corporation. Uh, and I suppose while that could also be an argument for the Republicans, uh, the Republican aspect, I would argue, is transparency. I feel as though you should know where every cent of your tax dollar is going. Uh, you should have full privacy uh, in your home. I don't think the government should have the right to spy on you. Uh, and then, just in a general, broad sense, I don't think it's a party issue to want personal private to want the internet to remain the same. Joe?
I have a smart ASS answer to why a Democrat or Republican will vote for a pirate. And this is my cut on it, but a Republican will vote for a pirate because we're not a Democrat. And a Democrat will vote for a pirate because we're not a Republican. And a lot of our issues transcend party bounds. A lot of it is what a lot of the issues that we focus on are issues that have nothing to do with left or right, like the freedom of the internet, the freedom and decency for all humankind. You know, no matter what your situation is, I don't care. You do you. My personal policy on it is you do you. And just don't trample on me. Don't tread on me. I'm not in a tech profession, even though I am a little bit tech savvy. And I'm not like Bosun the Wizard or Jamie the Magnificent, but I can kind of, sort of, eventually figure out a YouTube automatic plug and play thing. But that being said, I use my body for a living. I'm a frontline worker, just like yourself, sir, though I will acquiesce. I will not acquiesce what that is until there's enough push for it. But that being said, I lift things up and I put them down all day long. And the honest truth is, I don't care about the Republican Party. I don't care about the Democrats, the communists, or the libertarians. I just care about what the issues are and who's going to get it done. So I'll vote for Republican if I think that's the person. I'll vote for a Democrat. I will vote for Barney. I don't care. If Barney's going to get the job done, that's what I'm about. Fair?
Absolutely. And I think that's the perfect way of putting it. And I think the one thing people need to realize as well is the issue at hand is not going to be how do you convince Democrats or Republicans to vote for you. When you got 30% registered Democrats, 30% registered Republicans, they're probably going to vote along state lines or party lines, rather. What you're looking for more so is the independent, those that don't necessarily consider themselves, like you're saying, oh, I don't care about, the Democrats or Republicans. I'll vote for the best candidate. And like I said, you have to say, we're not corporate backed. There's no dark money involved. We are real people talking about real issues. And we just think that policy should be backed by evidence.
Bosun, our fearless leader, what say you to this?
You said fearless?
I said fearless, yes.
Yeah, fearless. Yeah, well,
That's why we launched you in the trebuchet last summer. That's why we put you in the trebuchet, because you were fearless.
yeah.
Slightly inebriated.
Just launch me over the wall. Okay. What did you want me to?
The whole question about Democrats versus Republicans versus who we are.
Well, I'm personally of the opinion that if we had more than two parties, that we would not have the deadlock we have, the gridlock we have in Washington. That there's we've kind of polarized the country, and we really need to look at alternatives to the two major parties because they've just become polarized against each other, and nothing gets done. So why should you vote for us as opposed to them? Well, why not? What's it going to hurt? Maybe first of all, as long as you're not talking about the presidential race, as long as you're talking about Congress, it really doesn't matter what party somebody belongs to in Congress. You can choose to you could choose to caucus with who you want. Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. There are independents in Congress, at least a handful of them. And sometimes they're probably going to be more independents because there seem to be people leaving the Republican Party to become independents. So it's not the same as just because of the way the presidential primaries and the electoral votes work. That's a little more dangerous in a closely split nation. But I'd like to see us in more legislatures because I don't think it hurts anything. I think it actually makes the political system work better.
I agree. And I also don't believe the pirates are going to work best at the national level anyways. I said in the past few conferences, brought up the point that the continental United States is the size of continental Europe. We need to look at state level first, and we should really be pushing towards getting people involved at the state level. Make sure we have 50 state representation, or at least a good number of states. We don't have to have a complete 50, but say we split up the country into 5 regions. Do we have representation in one of the 5? I would like to see a lot of people look deeper into pirate politics because I feel as though it matters more towards the common person. I feel as though liberalism or conservatism or libertarianism or socialism can all be grouped into certain niche areas, and maybe it doesn't intrigue you or maybe it doesn't interest you. Well, I believe pirate politics are just basically what the common person deals with. I think in the 21st century, the internet is just a part of your life. I don't think that it's a unique niche a party. I think that it's a movement inspired out of necessity. And I think if more people dug deeper into looking at pirate politics, they can see, oh, wow, this is a lot less divisive, number one, a lot more logical.
Can I share a thought I've been having of late with you gentlemen and hear your thoughts on it? Have you heard the concept of power? You understand the concepts of power vacuums, correct? Like when there's lawlessness, there are people who end up coming up to subjugate their own law. And a good example of this is when there is a lawless area for a long time and up springs a dictator. Well, what I saw in this last pandemic was very much a power vacuum, but instead of power, it was the necessity of having people reach out in order to fill those shelters with food and supplies that people needed. There was this huge vacuum and so many people in need. And really at the forefront of seeking to fill the needs of the people were myself and Bosun and Jamie and all of us here organizing to do what must be done. And I see very much a disconnect, just like there's a disconnect between federal agents in the streets and not understanding and subjugating with the criminal law. I see a failing of understanding, and in that failing of understanding are creating the system by which is perpetuating the terribleness that is this existence, correct? So, looking at it from a logical sense, there's a vacuum, and there's a vacuum of the voice of the people. And that is really where the pirates are starting to step into, is really paying attention to the needs of the people and making sure that those needs happen. The right to decency, the right to privacy, the right to be inventive and creative and seek the golden dream that is the American dream. And I've seen it come time and time again where the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and no one speaks for the poor. Every system has a backlash that happens when things go out of whack. And the reason why I've seen so many people flock to us is for the simple reason that we are trying to bring sense to a system so that it does not die entirely by itself, so that the system does not implode. The system by which has brought us such peaceful times and the open chance at real democracy, the real open chance at taking care of people. And that cannot be allowed to die. We cannot allow democracy to die. And it will die if we let it over to the greedy corporations that are just chasing the money. And yes, the money, there is some benefit to the money, and to deny that is foolhardy. But to give all into one system, too much of a good thing, too much water is a flood, too much heat is a fire. And to give on to any one thing, or to think that any system doesn't exist. Like, for example, where did the church get all of its power? It would step into the Lords and care to the poor. And that's where the church gained its sway back in medieval times, correct? I'm slightly paraphrasing that. That was much more complicated, I'm sure. But you get my point. The reason why we're gaining so much momentum, we're gaining so much sway, is simply because of the fact that there is a great need and we are standing up to it. And we will continue to stand up to it and continue to be there, right? So I care about the people, I care about America, and when my job is done, I will lay down and I will go back my separate way. Because for the most part, I hate people. But I love them, but I hate them, you know?
100%.
So, being a glorified introvert, you know? But that being said, the reason why I do such a heavy fight for the privacy and decency is because I enjoy mine so much. And it's a fight that I will fight. So, that's my thought on it.
So we've put these all up on the internet, on YouTube. Correct?
Yes,
All
we
the
are on YouTube
conferences?
right now. Everything
Yes.
you're saying is being recorded, which is how every one of our meetings should just automatically be anyways. Oh, wait, they
So
are.
this is available, and all the other ones are available.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch the whole series, although they aren't bound in beautiful leather books or anything. but you can watch the whole series for free, and you can even copy them and send them to your relatives, because we're the people who are believe
Yes.
in the ability to copy things and send them to anybody you want to.
That's right. I believe every idea that is created is a product of society and will better society if shared, and more importantly, if it can be improved upon. And I think that's a basic pirate idea, no?
Yeah, why can't ideas compete on their own as ideas? Why can't we accept that some things are valid because they have basic validity, not because of who says them or who backs them. Um, there's nothing wrong with accepting this idea that there may be value in ideas, but the value doesn't have to be monetary. It could be societal. If you want a better society, the freedom of ideas and the ability of ideas to compete against each other will lead to a better society.
Proven fact that open source software almost works so much better than the closed stuff. Plus, like, it's beaten.
Well, even the closed stuff is a lot of it's based on open source software. iOS that Apple uses is based on FreeBSD. Even Microsoft is embracing like Linux in a lot of aspects because you can run a Linux kernel on the new version of Windows. So those are open source softwares. Basically, everything now is running Linux in your phone. And I have to go. Okay.
So to finish that thought, though, or finish along that line of thought, open source is like a good idea. It gets hammered. It gets tested. It gets poked. It gets prodded. And just like good ideas that we have slowly discovered, known as the political system, things that are hammered on, poked, and prodded, and meticulously beaten, so too should our party be, with all of its ideas, be meticulously hammered out. Everything about our society should be hammered out, well thought out, and done. We no longer live in an age of ignorance because we have the world of knowledge at our fingertips. So now more than ever, we have the ability to hammer out all these ideas. Hammer out what's good, what's bad, And we should definitely do so with our political systems. And that's really where we step in because we're so far outside the box and have always been so far outside the box that, like, I'm not even sure what the box is anymore. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with breaking the system politically. And probably that's the one nice thing that I saw out of the person I'm not even going to mention, because it gave me hope that the system could be beaten. And then he proceeded to do every single thing that just made me like go, why? But out of all the recent presidents, I would have to say Barack Obama was absolutely my favorite because he absolutely believed in democracy. He believed in the slow change of time. He wasn't trying to break the system, but work through the system to make it a better place for all. And I would really like to see our party go along that path where we're not trying to break the system, we're trying to make the system. So.
Absolutely. I don't know if I have. I don't know if I can really add to that, Joe. That was really well put.
I appreciate that. But that's what I feel we should stand for. We should stand for a political party and a political system that is unparalleled to any other party. There's a lot that separates us. And the more time we're given to really hammer all those points, and really then once we have our points hammered out, as you see, I've been working diligently on hammering out these points, somewhat diligently, as much as I can. I would love some support on hammering out our planks. Please, for the love of God and all that is holy, come and support me and hammer out these planks. But that being said, Once we have who we are, convincing others is not going to be that hard. Because if we really spent the mental fortitude upon it, or really held up to our mental fortitude and hammered out all these ideas and made them infallible, then they themselves will be how we convince other people. So, and yes, vote for me for representative of your partiness. How do you think we should convince others?
I'm sorry?
How do you think we should convince others?
I feel as though the convincing is it's almost self-explanatory. I remain of the opinion that we are a party made of the people for the people with issues that pertain to today's modern age. I feel as though if people just sat down and talked to someone who's already a pirate, they'll probably sit down and agree with 80% of the issues at hand. And the main three, the transparency, privacy, and net neutrality, I can't imagine a single person saying, actually, I think the government should keep all secrets from us. Actually, I wish they would spy on me.
Net neutrality was shut down. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm hitting my little pen and it's kicking my butt. But
Good.
net neutrality should not have been shut down, and it was shut down, and it really it was a clear sign to me that you really see who's in power. You really see who's control. It's gotten the fighting of the clawing at the monetary gain has gotten to the point where we're just the byproduct. They're using it to suck money out of each other. And you should see that where they're using it to suck the life out of your Verizon company, so that way they have to give up more money and more data. Where they fight each other, because that's really where the money is. It's not in us, it's not in the masses, it's in each other. And so the net neutrality really F's over certain companies even more so than us. It sells more airtime. It gets your Comcast and gets all of those much more money. It gets your ad revenue companies much more money. And to think that if they weren't so transparent and obvious about what they were doing, and you step back and look at what they're doing, then you realize that they absolutely don't care at all about you or about me. Doesn't matter who we are. They can just come in and roll over either one of us at any point, whenever they want. They could excuse me, somebody. I mean, he definitely didn't kill himself.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, he did, but he didn't. So,
Right.
Yeah. So, and they don't care. They don't even care that we know. That's the part that blows my mind. They don't care that they know they have that much power that they just don't give a rat's pajamas. Is this PG? I can't remember if this is PG.
Rat's pajamas sounds about... Yeah, that's fair. You don't have to worry about censorship at that point.
Honestly, for the two people who are watching at home right now, I'm sure that they get it too. And that's the whole point. As we continue to finish polishing off who we are, that's when it's going to really, really matter. Because that's when we start knocking on the doors, start organizing campaigns. I know I'm going to be dumping some money to bunch out a bunch of flyers and just paper the town saying, hey, we're pirates, we're here to help you. And literally just take that approach, because that's what I am going to do. I'm literally going to knock on doors, not to tell them who I am, but to ask them who they are. Because that's what's going to matter. Who they are and what they want. Because that's what matters. I'm a plebe. I don't know if you remember back in the day who the plebes were, but it's ancient Greece. And they were the ones who represented the people. Not the rich nobility, but the people. And that is exactly who the pirates are, is the people. we're the voice of democracy. We're the ones fighting back. So, like, I don't think I need to really convince you who you are, who you support. You know that I'm going to support you. I'm going to make sure that you're taken care of. Make sure that one of the biggest things that I love is that homelessness is a human health crisis. I think that's one of the most brilliant ideas because it gives us a tool to make sure there's a roof over people's head. It gives us a tool to make sure that somebody's okay. Because there's a certain percentage of the population that cannot work. For one reason or another, whether it's their cuckoo pachoo, if that's even allowed to be said, but if they just can't function physically, mentally, or emotionally. There's something that's messed up, and we have to account for that. And we have to account that there's only so many people who are making so much good. So we're going to have to lean on technology in order just to do that. Technology to rebuild our lives. And that's really where our focus is. So where AI is now officially killing people in the world. If we don't raise AI right and raise AI with our values, then it's going to be all for naught. So to do it right and treat it like the thing that it is, and treat ourselves right and making sure we're good. That's what it's about. And so I don't think we're going to have to convince people as much as we just have to tell them who we are and what we're trying to do.
So you guys solved all the world's problems while I was away. Right?
At least begun to address it. I'm going to just say, there's the problem, and leave it to you, Bosun. Good luck, buddy.
Okay, thanks.
If I solve only one thing, then I could say I had a good life. If I solve one problem, even if it's just for one person, I've done right by the world. There's an old, what was that, Schindler's List? Save one life, save the world. If we save just one life, or 10 lives, 15, if we just save the one, we've done right. So
we're are we going to wrap this up now? We're right about
ignore the bed. But yeah, no, I mean, what if you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you're saying you're nailing these points here. We are people. We are the common man with common issue. I think that in terms of convincing people, I think, like you're saying, all they have to do is take a step back and look and see that the system isn't built for guys like you and I. It's not built for the common man. It's very much built to benefit a group of people who are not us. Pirates are us. Pirates are the people, and I feel as though, especially, and this is a generalized point for third parties in general, when you have two parties, both equally funded by corporations, you only have two corporate parties. You don't have a third voice. Who's to speak up when an issue has bipartisan support? It may not be the right issue, even bipartisanship. One issue I could think of in particular, but it's not ruffle feathers. I won't bring it up now, but international foreign policy tends to be one. And if we don't start talking about issues that have bipartisan agreement from the main two parties, then it brings up a whole group of problems. It's one thing to have two sides disagree. It's another thing to have the two sides agree and not have someone to be able to mediate that.
And they talk about, oh my God, look at this bipartisan issue that we're all agreeing on. Oh yeah, we're just going to fund more prisons. I took that one right out, Mal.
Yeah. They're was going to talk about bipartisanship, but no, I mean there are things the two parties do agree on. They want to maintain their hold on power. And maybe that's one of the things you may not want them agreeing with.
Yeah, they don't work quite as hard as they do when they're trying to keep a third party off the ballot.
Well, what was the last one? Like, don't waste your vote. Don't waste your vote. Vote Democrat. Don't waste your vote.
Well, remember the hashtag was vote blue no matter who. Great. That's how we ended up in
Michigan. In the South, when the Democrats were the party of segregation and the establishment in the South, they used to refer to people who would always vote Democrat as yellow dog Democrats, because they would vote for a yellow dog if it had a Democrat label.
I had in my district, in District 3, Representative Lipinski was a Blue Dog Coalition, which is the play on the old yellow dog Democrat.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're referring to.
Sorry.
So yeah, that being said, I've kind of been working, at least as much as I can, to push the party where we're going to be in a good stance to start running candidates again. And I feel like we're almost there. You may agree with me or disagree, and if you disagree, go ahead and start running. But that being said, they want to know who we are. I think the best way to do is grassroots. And grassroots is really going to be the only way. And going in and listening instead of trying to tell them who we are and what we want to do, go in and ask them, what do they want? What do they want to see happen? What changes should I be working on? And I think that realness is going to get to them a lot more than anything else. Just being real, being truthful, being their representative. I think is the best approach. To be the plebe, to be the one, their voice, and take notes so that you can make sure that you know what they want. And that's why you should be calling when there's something that you see, something you see with law. You should be paying attention and calling your legislator to make your voice heard. If you want us to see do something, let us know. I mean, selling is legal, you know? So things that are associated with selling should generally be legal as well. George Carlin quote there that I kind of threw in for those who are curious, you know? But, yeah, no, I felt very strongly about this for a very long time, and I chose the Pirates because the Pirates have something very pure here, something that could change the whole system for the better. And my heart has been here ever since. I think that the issues that we're going after, like the copyright, like that, have some underlying truth to them, just like the First Amendment has truth to it, that has bettered the world, and I truly mean bettered the world. So too do the right to decency, the right to privacy, also have a fundamental factor in bettering the world. Because when you have the government, when you have your enemies constantly bearing down on you, looking for any little mistake in which they can trip you up, they'll find it. When you have laws that are so complicated that there's no way you can know them all and can trip you up, then those laws don't serve you. I don't want to go to war, but I'm ready for it. I'm always ready for it. But I don't want to go to it. But But if they're going to take away the freedoms of my family, but as far as that goes, I want to give us this chance that we have to take back the system. And if we don't do it soon, then it will be too late.
I agree. I think while at times I may not be in love with the United States of America in execution, in idea, it's the greatest idea that's ever been spurred. A government based on freedom, on liberty, on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A government for the people, by the people, of the people. We hold these truths to be self-evident. I don't think there's ever been more poetic way of wording liberty, of explaining the freedom and the rights of man. All men are created equal.
Justice for all.
With liberty and justice for all.
For all.
They are the ones in power, but we are the ones that have the ability to take that power away.
Because we're the ones who have the burden of that power upon us.
Well,
it is upon our shoulders that they gain their power.
Yeah. Power is derived from the people.
And I'm not gonna wanna go all French Revolution on them.
No, that's not. That's an American concept too.
The French Revolution?
No, power is derived from the people.
Oh, well, yeah. I think it goes back though. That goes
That's
back.
that's a Enlightenment principle. I was going to say here. I shall.
Well, the one thing interesting about the words of the founding fathers, one person that was very inspired by that we don't learn about in United States education for obvious reasons, was Ho Chi Minh of North Vietnam. And the idea that these words, we view communism in the United States as anti-American as it gets. Like, you can't be more anti-American if you're communist. But the foundations of this country and the ideas of true democracy of this country has inspired people from all boards of the political sphere, all walks of the sphere, from communists to whatever Trump was. And it's important to note that is essentially pirate party politics in and of itself, that we will reach across the board. We have something truly special with the idea of for the people, by the people. This is not something that is unique to us. These are ideas that are, there's a reason it's spreading in Europe. There's a reason it's spreading to the Americas now. That's a powerful concept.
So that being said, I think what we stand for, who we stand for, why we stand for it, and how we're going to get our message across is really, at least that's the vision I have. And I am willing to continue doing this until I am dead or till you find somebody better. So, that being said, keep on voting for us, keep on giving us the support, keep on giving us the direction and the gentle guidance. And definitely give us likes and comments and subs and all that wonderful stuff.
Please visit uspirates.org if you're interested in forming a state pirate party. Please come contact us. If you think your state might already have a pirate party, reach out. If not, we'd love to help you form it.
Even if you're the first one and you're the one who's establishing the party, and as other people come, we'll reference them right to you. And that way, if it's only 3 pirates are sitting down, they decide something, and then as part of that, because you only need 3 pirates to form a chapter. That's it. And if you're willing to say, yes, I am in this spot, I am in Massachusetts, I am in Wisconsin, and I want to make it. Sign up for the mailing list, sign up for the notifications, and we'll continue to fight, and we'll continue to listen. So,
Absolutely.
Yay!
thank you.
Right on, guys.
Deuces.
Have a great night, gang.
Good night.